Word of mouth.
Do not adjust your VCR tracking. You are watching Nerd of Mouth, and this is our physical media appreciation episode. From comic book special editions to vinyl records, face it, the streaming era has us utterly borked. We're sick. We can't choose anything anymore. We must go back. We must return. With me this week, as always, it's Holden McNeely. Oh! And Mike Lawrence.
Man, this is going to be a blast from the past, and I'm not just talking that underrated Brendan Fraser film.
I mean,
aren't they all?
Except The Mummy Returns. Yeah. That one is the only one.
And the one where he's fat. That was rated.
Life-changing moments for me. Getting a TV VCR for Christmas for my bedroom. Getting eventually out, not a little ways after that, a couple years after that, getting a PlayStation 2 that played DVDs in my bedroom. And I think as well, I would throw out there, modern day, I'm collecting vinyl, but getting a CD player and Nirvana Unplugged is my first CD. The beginning of my creating.
Some would say Nirvana unplugged themselves.
Getting my own identity via a CD collection that I slowly grew. These are touchstones that I still think about today. And that's not even including, we talked already, check out our physical media video games episode, my Sega Genesis collection, prized and beloved Game Boy collection. But these things really mattered to me. And I think, Mike, you brought it up recently, and also the sheer joy of coming over to someone's place for the first time and they have their collection prominently displayed, and finding that you could really get an understanding of someone based on that in a way that doesn't exist when everything's all digital.
Yeah, that if we were able to, when we met each other, see each other's collections, that we would have that immediate bond. There's there were a lot of movies that everyone that looks like us had. Yeah. And then there were the outliers. And the outliers are where a personality comes together. Yeah. And you're like, oh, wow, that guy also likes this. It's amazing to me. My first physical media memory that I thought of when we were doing this episode was for Christmas one year, my stepdad was like, I know you like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I bought you an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And I was like, is it Predator? Is it Terminator 2? And it was Last Action Hero.
Okay.
Honestly?
And here's the thing. At the time, I was like, this sucks. In comparison to a badass Predator, rated R movie that
I'll
I wanted.
even take an eraser in a pinch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did a Red Heat, if you will. And but I got it, and it was and it's funny because that's a memory of my stepdad.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's at first not what you want, but you learn to accept it, and you Charles dance around the issues.
I guess did you end up loving that movie because through modern eyes?
Because I watched it a bunch.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah. You're stuck with it. Reservoir Dogs, Dazed and Confused, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, Mallrats. I have those movies memorized. They were my 4 first VHS tapes
that were yours.
That were mine in my room. Playing on that TV VCR, ad nauseum,
For me, because that is a huge part of the physical media era, is that early stage where you do only have the 2 to 5 just objects that call your own.
Same with CDs. I remember that too. It was Green Day, Kerplunk, Nirvana Unplugged, because my brother had Dookie. Mm-hmm. I'm catching up to him, right? I'm like trying to catch
Always
up to his collection, But it was just in Bin Folds 5, whatever, never, amen, right? That was just those 3, or much less when you got into somebody's car. And they had their book of CDs and hey, pick something out, and you go in and again, you're understanding someone just by glancing at these relics of theirs that they own.
As opposed to, I guess now you just kind of like when they turn on their TV, you get a quick glance of their like recently watched bar.
Yeah,
and you're just like, okay, yeah, Love Island and Pluribus, same as everyone else. Great.
And also too, on top of that, think about that. Like, sure, you can make someone a playlist on Spotify and that some effort was made. That is way different from my buddy Pat using his cassette recorder to record every single one of his favorite White Zombie tracks on one tape and labeling the entire thing and even drawing some art on it and handing that to me as an introduction to one of his favorite bands that has then became one of my favorite bands.
You're making a really good point because, Mike, you reached out to our community over on Facebook and on our Discord, patreon.com/nerdofmouth. Join in. And
our Reddit page.
And our Reddit. Oh, I missed the Reddit page.
That's okay.
Sorry, I'm learning. We love you.
I'll pick one or two from them.
Thank you.
They're good people.
Yeah, I love our Nerd of Mouth on Reddit. Yeah, we have a subreddit. Please check that out.
I think we got like 30 responses.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they really care. They love their physical media, and they love us. And they love how much we acknowledge them.
And don't worry, no one gets mean on Reddit, so I'm sure you're going to be fine.
Yeah, everything's going to be fine when you miss off people on Reddit. But all the like one of the through lines of these stories is that media as totem of a connection with another person, that these are something that you loan somebody, you give somebody something, you go with a friend to buy the thing at midnight.
Yeah.
Or just how, an individual piece of, God, I'm saying it, content takes on so much more when it is like a physical object that was received or shared with somebody.
Yeah, when you can literally be like, I wore that CD out. Well, I played it until it could no longer be played.
No, that's because you flung it across the room like a frisbee, thus damaging the polycarbonate layer.
And no one said anything important on Reddit, like Die for the Slug saying, I just recently got my Cowman vinyl, and that makes me very happy.
Nice!
It's a great album, and I never thought I'd be able to get the vinyl. Holden and the rest of the gang has done a good thing with the re-release.
Thank you so much. Check out. We got red vinyl, too. We'll be talking about colored vinyl. We'll be talking about vinyl variants, all sorts of things like that at a later portion in this episode as we continue to cover physical media. And you can check out our buy our Cowman vinyl over on Bandcamp. Check it out. My band from New York, if you're new or something.
Physical media for me is it made things more interactive. Whether it's taping something off the TV. Yeah. The taping of something off the radio.
Waiting by the radio. Yeah.
Where we were talking about, trading things with people. I mean, and you look at now, and I love that. And I'm going to just say on the record, I have not mentioned my autism for a few episodes. I'm going to do it right now. It's a physical media episode.
We should have some visual autism.
He should have like a on-screen meter that fills up every...
Motherfucker, I didn't do it on the Cyclops episode. And that guy sees in a spectrum.
EX Super Spectrum Attack!
Yeah. But I was going to say, I love that history has rewarded the autistic in terms of, collecting things. And in terms of, when you look at YouTube, like all these commercials that we watch on our Patreon, that we, interact with are all because of autistic people collecting VHSs. Like the Star Wars holiday special, someone knew Lucas is going to come for this and I need to preserve it for history. And it's like this amazing thing. I probably talked about this on the Fantastic Four episode. Like an incredible moment was getting that. It was a fucking VHS in the mail, a bootleg. It was the first thing I ever bought on eBay of the 1994 Fantastic Four movie.
Wow.
That those things could continue the legacy of something before we had YouTube. I remember like SNL compilations, whatever was on those SNL compilations, that is in the zeitgeist of SNL larger than anything else. Because
saying-
they're the things you watched over and over.
Yeah.
Down by the river and More Cowbell would not be as iconic if they weren't preserved first.
Yeah, if you didn't have the best of Jimmy Fallon. It's just Cowbell. And it's really the best of Will Ferrell.
And we've kind of gone.
I'm now not going to get booked on Jimmy Fallon.
And we've kind of gone through it. But like because I remember, talking about compilations and stuff like that, just remembering when that like Family Guy season 1 and Simpsons DVD
the
sets.
Simpsons had
and
DVDs.
all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I have an entire season of television in the palm of my hand. Little do I know, and a couple years from then or a few years from then, I'm going to be looking at like a tiny little iPod color and an episode of The Office is playing on it. And I'm like, what's happening here? And seeing both sides of the spectrum, Mike, please, of leaning hard into these collectibles and then getting to a point, I think we all did, where, I mean, I was blown away by the concept that my entire album library, and I had a lot of CDs, and stuff, could all exist in the palm of my hand on this iPod, especially in New York City, where it's hard to keep, I would keep a bunch of CDs on me in like a shoulder bag with like a Discman. I remember that was my first year in New York. That's how I rolled. And then very quickly was thankful for the iPod. But what's amazing to me, and I think the reason why we're talking right now about this, is not a doomsday scenario. It's not old guys going, oh, remember the good old days. No, we're talking about this because of the incredible resurgence. All I got to say is, hey, the kids are all right. Like, I've been really, really touched to see a giant resurgence of cassettes, CDs, vinyl, and it's not being led by us. It's being led by the youth, because there is something I think we're exploring in this episode that's like a deeper thing to say about humanity and about the way we identify ourselves using physical media, using these relics, right? And that even though you can make it as convenient as possible, you can make streaming and all this stuff happen as easily. It's not even on an iPod separate from your phone. It's on your phone. It's everywhere you go. I can listen to something on Spotify on my phone and then sit down on my computer and finish listening to it at my computer because it just knows, right? Yeah. And yet there still is this need for, I don't know if it's identity, if it's hanging on to the past. I think the real secret is kids can't afford a house, so at least they can afford a couple of vinyls once a month. Instead, they can own something, but there's this understanding.
Wait a minute, we can't afford houses either.
I know. Well, that's why I'm also going to the record store once a month. You know what I mean? And picking up some stuff so I can say, at least I have something.
I have a house.
Very good.
No, I just, Jake gave me this look of like, well, because he literally was in my house yesterday.
Yeah, it's a very nice house, lots of natural light.
Great
Cats in the yard.
It's two.
Whatever.
I like that yours is more
3.
positive. A cat died in mine.
One cat underground, and 2 cats on the yard. Yeah, and I think it's just like a beautiful thing. I mean, that's what I got from my research on music, and I want to get a little more into that. But I think that's something that's really like filled my heart with joy, is seeing the sheer amount of young people with Walkman, with, caring about especially music. With movies, I found it's more talking to like other dads, and Henry of Last Podcast on the Left is also going through a similar thing where it's like, I'm tired of being kind of sort of being powerless to whatever these streamers that I have a subscription to want to give me. And I think recently, I don't want to call out any streamer in particular, but a very prominent horror streamer got rid of a bunch of stuff that was pretty bog standard for a horror movie lover.
You're talking about Tubi, right?
Yes.
You're talking about Tubi.
That makes me want to.
Yeah, I shudder at the thought of it. And he's like, I just need to own this shit on Blu-ray. You know what I mean? And especially when it comes to like some B movie thing that, that's not necessarily.
Wait, they used to have B movie on Shudder? I mean, the faces are scary.
Seinfeld was co-owner. It was a weird.
The romance between the adult, fully grown woman and the bee is one of the most unsettling things I've ever seen in cinema.
But if you thought that was unsettling, you should hear these horrific advertisements.
What's the deal with colonies?
So, you're coming from like an emotional kind of place. For me, it's definitely about kind of, we're bringing up late capitalism again. Ding, ding, ding. Mark it on your bingo card. And it's how, like you said, Max, Netflix, all of these companies that, really did try and sell you this beautiful like dream of, hell, when Netflix first started doing streaming, what was it, $7 a month, $8 a month? You could still get the DVDs. You could still buy your own collection. It all goes down to the right of like first sale. That like once that book, once that album, once that video game, once that movie is in your hands, you can make a backup of it. You can rip it onto your iPod. You can you can rip a DVD. You can do whatever you want. It is yours. That is something you own. You paid the money and it is yours. And now, even when you've bought something, Sony just got rid of a bunch of movies. This happens on Amazon all the time. Something that you have digitally bought is just gone. It is, hit the mic. It is just no longer yours. And that feeling of precarity kind of all of a sudden made people kind of like ooked out. In addition to the fact that now that
I love this about you. You're the only person that could say precarity and ooked out in the same paragraph. God bless you.
Like it's a bespoke form of glorpiness that the modern consumer is constantly inundated with. Yeah. And it's kind of, plus we're spending more money than ever. If you want to watch everything you want to watch and you want to listen to everything you want to listen to, you're spending as much money as you did on physical media back in the day, which, and on top of everything else, how many of us, and like, please leave a comment below if this has happened to you this week, you sit down, you're like, let's watch a movie. And you go on Netflix and you're like, I don't know. Then you jump to Max and you're like, I don't know. Maybe this. We'll hold on to this.
And then you just end up on Pornhub, gooning the
And if you had
minutes
just
away.
gone to a friend's house where all they have is a copy of Virtuosity, you'd be watching Virtuosity and having a blast.
Or going to the video store and you leave with the single movie.
Virtuosity.
I prefer Johnny Mnemonic in the sleeve case where his brain was the VHS tape. Which was a beautiful
all we have
piece.
is Gattaca.
You know what's great? I love that sleeve case is a great mnemonic.
Yeah.
That's why you remember it.
Listen, we all are.
No, don't get me started on Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah.
Johnny Mnemonic, Hancock, Virtuosity, the great films that everybody agrees are worth preserving. Yeah. But it's
all worth preserving, right?
Yeah.
Because it all means something to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And that I always say it, but that's one of the beauties of this show is every reference one of us makes touches someone in a way because that's their favorite thing too. There is a guy who's like, oh, thank God he liked Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Because I swear.
Yeah, and I want to hang on to this stuff, even if it's like terrible. I remember getting really into some bad music that came out recently based on like YouTube lists and stuff like that. And I remember trying to go look up what Lil Xan's album that's horrible. I forgot what it's called, but if you go, he pulled it from like everything. He pulled it from Spotify and stuff. Mm-hmm. And just thinking like, that's not fair. I want to hear your bad album. I want to hear it fucking right now. I want it to exist because it's fascinating.
I know that remember this was a big issue, the Martin Shkreli Wu-Tang album.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I know that I think he got it repossessed because, he was a criminal.
Yeah.
But even that, it was funny though with that. It was so interesting where everyone was so mad at him, but people weren't that mad at the Wu-Tang. They're like, make the money.
So funny. Even Wu-Tang was mad. Ghostface Killah got involved in that, got calling out Martin Shkreli a bunch. And it was weird.
But the reality of that story too was, if you put things at that premium of a price, that's who's going to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, this all really reminds me of a guy I met in New York City, and this older hippie guy I met when I was working at Getty Images. He was a photo archivist for his job at Getty, and I was working in a totally different department, but I got kind of pointed to him because of my taste in music and people finding out I was like a big Bob Dylan head, especially at the time, and he was like the lead Bob Dylan archivist guy. One of them, and he had access.
His name Mitch?
Mitch Blank.
I know Mitch Blank.
You know Mitch Blank?
Yeah, he's one of my uncle's best friends.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I've been
Dude.
to his apartment. It is
Yes, in the West Village.
Yeah.
I've been there too, a bunch.
It is a shrine.
Yes.
To Bob Dylan.
It's incredible.
He's the guy that people go to when they're writing about Dylan because he has everything.
So every time they come out with those new like bootleg series box sets or whatever,
Those are from Mitch.
Yeah. Well, he gets credited. He was credited in Scorsese's documentary as the hypnotist collector, which is a Bob Dylan lyric. But it's not just Dylan. He has stuff. He had stuff in his apartment that he couldn't show me. He had stuff. He had relics like the Beatles, and he was really the first person that turned me on to the concept of like, this stuff is impermanent. This stuff needs to be held on to. And at any given time, let's say, I remember when I was hanging out with him, what was her name? Odetta? I forget. It was a great blues singer. She had passed away. And when that happens, guys like him, they immediately have to contact the family, say like, please give us access to...
We're sorry for your loss, but can you...
but also like this stuff needs to be preserved or it will disappear. And I actually did a huge archiving project with him. There was this guy named Bob Fosse, not Fosse, who is a radio personality in New York City for many years.
Jazzless hands.
There was a documentary actually made about him, and I'm in it at a moment because I helped him and a group of people go to Staten Island and go into this guy's house as he was late in age. And it was just upstairs covered in cat piss and shit, by the way, but they had a kind of hoardery house.
If you want to talk about the preservation of physical media, you're gonna get some cat piss and shit.
Exactly. And that's what we did.
That's the rules of the game. Nobody else held on to a copy of Mimic.
He had
I'm surprised that's not the name of one of Dylan's new songs.
Cat piss and shit. Yeah.
You need to like gargle 18 batteries and then do that impression to do modern Dylan.
He had hundreds, this radio guy had hundreds of reel-to-reels in his house that we excavated and organized by time period and attempted our best to like label and retain and then later they were going to go and like digitize it and stuff. But it was this huge effort.
So he was like an engineer or a producer or
Mitch Blank?
No,
no, he was the radio. He was the guy. He hosted like a call-in show in New York City, but he'd also have constant counterculture guests on, the Grateful Dead, Lou Reed, like just all these amazing guests. But also New Yorkers would just call him all throughout the night, you know, and just a waitress in Queens,
an incredible
some stockbroker,
archive of just anthropologically significant,
just
like,
incredible stuff from like the 60s and everything. But anyways, it was just what he really got across to me was like the importance of preservation and the importance of physical media and audio in all its forms.
What I was going to say, what was even more amazing in that story is that there's this guy that both me and you had a connection to
so
immediately, despite like our disparate lives for years and all of that. And if we had never met and done this podcast, we still would have both known Mitch Blank.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Because like that's a cool thing of that connection. I mean, I was thinking about this, like, you know, even like romantically, I was like, I met my first girlfriend at a Specs. And thank God we didn't have kids, because that story, they would have to like, wait, where, how did I met your mother? With Specs? What the fuck? No.
Wait, I don't know what a Specs is.
It's a record store.
Oh, okay.
Specs, they were chain.
Yeah, Specs.
I think they became FYE, but it was Specs for years. And I mean, I don't know if it's regional, it must be, but I met her there, and then she worked at a local radio station, and I remember she would have hundreds of CDs, and we would go through them. And some of these, you know, a lot of these were bands submitting their CD. You know, she was working at like a public radio, and you know, some of these CDs, they're only like probably like 500 copies or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is something, you know, I always think about this, like as a creative, it is amazing. Like when you walk by like a pile of books, you know,
on the side of the road,
every one of those is someone's dream, you know, and every album is somebody's like work in their life. And there is something cool about that, of all that sweat and struggle that is just in this one little package.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about, like, you know, because there are people that defend the internet as, you know, this is a chance for that passion to go out to the public, where you didn't have to like go through a publishing house. You didn't have to like press your own records and, you know, go bankrupt on the whim of a shot that maybe this works out. And I'm sure, you know, there's so many right now. The box office is filled with directors and filmmakers that started on digital, and probably who knows if they ever would have had a shot if they, in order to even practice their craft, they had to buy $10,000 worth of 16 millimeter film.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, you know, it's one of those things. It's hard to bemoan changes that happen. I mean, they did happen so quickly, and it's like you can't even be mad at the companies that want their money off these things.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, it is that there was that tempting thing once, you know, Napster started and LimeWire and all of that. Like, we as consumers, if we could have the thing for free, why wouldn't we?
People demanded mislabeled, not Weird Al Yankovic comedy songs that were way more racist and scatological than Weird Al would ever have made for himself.
Oh man, when my buddy Pat got that Weird Al Yankovic box set, though, it was like a game changer for me.
Box set is legendary.
That box set rules, dude. Just so much of that. It also reminds me of like reading, you know, Keith Richards' autobiography, and it was all really just, in the beginning, they were just blues nerds. They were trying as hard as they could in England to find as many blues records as they possibly could. That's kind of how the Stones happened, was them just being like audiophile blues nerds that were on this hunt. And so they all like glommed together because of this passion, you know, they had just trying to find these vinyls. And there's something about the hunt that when taken away, there's still...
It's because Coke's like is more potent off of a vinyl.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's Keith Richards. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's...
Yeah, remember he was in a Pirates of the Caribbean movie? What the fuck was that?
Yeah, I mean, because Johnny Depp was doing a Keith Richards movie.
It's still so weird.
People still get together on their musical taste for sure. Like, that's definitely happening. Yeah. But I think when it is a hunt, when it is something like that, like, there is something just more special about it. And I think that it brings people together in a way. So it's, for me, like, I can sit here and talk about, and we'll get into it, the fidelity, the hey, people get vinyl because it sounds better than the, you know, digital version, right? Than the Spotify version, let's say. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, I can really hear the difference. No, for me, it's identity. And I think that's what it is for these kids. They want identity. I said to myself at one point, I got a record player. My brother kind of hooked it up and got me a record player set up. And I said to myself, like, I want all these, like, I did this at the exact same time, apparently, as everyone else in the country, that I was like, you know, it'd be cool, instead of getting a bunch of like classic rock records and stuff, I want all the modern pop artists I love on vinyl. I want that on vinyl. I just think, because I just want to have it in front of me, this tangible collection of the things I love. It's so much, it's so inherent to me for my identity, as opposed to like, I just can hear, like, I'm just a better music listener. You know what I mean? Like, that's like really not it for me, to be quite honest.
It's a very bizarre thing in physical media, if you're talking about fidelity and stuff, is how even though we've gone from, you know, VHSs to DVDs to Blu-rays to UHD Blu-rays, how good the actual product look is entirely up to like the individual master that they used when they're burning that disc, when they're printing that object. Because there's so many times where that actual best version of something is sitting on a VHS somewhere because they actually had a better print to work off of, or the letterboxing wasn't like crunching it weird. It's such a bizarre thing, because a VHS is like literally a television signal just being whipped across a piece of like basically rusty tape. A DVD is just like a laser burning microscopic holes in plastic.
What is it? Dashes and
pits
dots?
and lands.
Pits and lands.
Which is weird because that's not ones and zeros. It's a very complicated thing. But there's so many times where a Blu-ray remaster will actually look way worse than the original DVD. And the fact is, sitting from like 15 feet away on a couch, you can barely tell the difference between like 1080p and 4K in the first place. There was even attempts to make HD VHSs that actually kind of look amazing. They have that like analog warmth that like it, that quality that people can never quite try.
Right.
There's also obscure stuff like the CED and the VHD, which were like these giant boondoggles where it was a vinyl record that was pressed with a whole ass movie on it. It's weirdly enough, Mike, you're wearing a Back to the Future. Back to the Future made its way onto every single format you could have possibly imagined. Weird shit that only came out in Estonia, video CDs in Malaysia. Like, if you had a way to distribute
they put it on
movies.
a rock somehow. So what you're saying is it's the Doom of
Yes, Back to the Future is the Doom of
movie
home media.
That's probably why I wore it, because I feel like this is one of those like iconic VHSs.
Everybody
people.
had it. Yeah, exactly.
But it's the fact that you're talking about like your vinyl collection as, again, it can be home decoration. It can be like, a statement piece. It's something to physically engage with while you're doing it. I don't quite know if I was building a home media collection now, which I'm very tempted to do.
You collect nothing other than, well, I mean, if anything, you just collect like gadgets.
That's and anxiety.
And anxiety.
And neuroses, yes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you just collect what are they, sleep demons or whatever.
There's a whole like VHS culture out there right now, usually kind of tied to like horror and schlock.
Yeah.
Especially because I feel like more so than any other medium, because so much of the VHS like experience was tied to the rental store experience. How many like I know this is like out of the blue. What is a VHS box cover that is like burned into your memory, whether or not the movie was actually any good? Like the thing that sticks in your brain.
I mean, definitely in the horror section of Blockbuster, Ghoulies. Right?
Oh, wait, the one with the big sphere of Ghoulies? That might have been Ghoulies too.
Like any of those horror, like critters. Like I would just
What's he doing in that toilet? Yeah. Ghoulies. You know what, dude? It's funny. Like I had two, but the second one was Ghoulies.
That's hilarious because I wouldn't watch any of those movies. I wasn't a horror person back then, but I would have to
linger,
psych myself up to walk through the horror section, just like
because you didn't have a stepdad.
It was exactly. And it was my own little house of horrors. It was my own little haunt experience, just walking through that aisle.
I have that personal experience, and I'm so proud I have it. Of we blind rented Troll 2.
Nice.
Before the internet, before it was ever like a meme.
I also saw it. I also saw it in the wild.
I was 9 years old. And it was just, we had Friday movie night and the box art. And I remember, one of us being like, but we didn't see Troll 1. And the guy that he's like, yeah, it stands on its own. And boy, does it. And it is, it has become this very popular, internet phenomenon. They're eating her. Now they're going to eat me. But that was like, still, whenever my brother's making a joke about me being whipped, by my wife, which I am very much. He still says, the queen is calling us, which is from, he always is like, the queen. And it's like, that's just a part of our like vernacular, our DNA as siblings is Troll 2. And it's such a cool thing to have that from the ground floor of, what the fuck is this, without knowing that anyone else was ever going to say that.
So I caught it with a friend on TV, and it was perfect timing because me and my buddy just happened to be on a vacation at my family mountain cottage in this spot outside of Asheville. And we just weirdly ended up, we genuinely liked the movie, did not see it as a bad movie at all. Thought it was amazing and really scary. And then we ended up going to a creepy kind of ghost town, mountain town, the next day. So all we could scream about was it's Nilbog, it's Nilbog. And
when they realized Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards, I didn't know that. I was
neither.
like, no!
I know. And so for it to later
really isn't any trolls in that movie, huh?
Dude, if anyone wants a fucking Troll 2 episode this Halloween, I will do it.
All right. That was such a funny memory you just unclogged. But yeah, I think, like I said, it's those VHS tapes I mentioned earlier in the show, that Dazed and Confused cover, Monty Python, the Holy Grail for sure, But also I remember just like when Rushmore hit Blockbuster, or rather Royal Tannenbaums when that hit Blockbuster, and just the iconic. Also, I have to say I have a bunch of them because I worked at Blockbuster.
Oh, right.
So there's like a ton that are burned into my brain. Don't even get me started on the softcore porns you could rent there.
And we're not going to get them started on the softcore porns you can rent there because we're going to go to our advertisements.
And then she was just like, oh. So anyways, we
finished on the softcore porns.
Those were kind of what it was like.
Also, wait, was it a bird?
Yeah.
That was literally just a caca.
It's called Sex Bird Woman 4.
I want your caca.
No, it wouldn't be called, if it was the softcore Blockbuster section, it wouldn't be called Sex Bird. It would just be called like Flight of Pleasure or something weird.
We find out that Holden just watched an episode of Zoopally Zoo. Want to do cockatoo? You're damn right I do.
But I actually, because I want you to answer the question too, Jake, but before we get into that on a music side, I remember just being like, I've heard a lot about this Bob Dylan, and being like, I should get a Bob Dylan. And so I went to Borders Books and Music, which was like, again.
I just knew he was the guy Adam Duritz wanted to be in Mr. Jones.
But yeah, I go to the store, I go to the Bob Dylan section. And what's funny is like my dad had like Bob Dylan stuff, at least on vinyl at the time. But, I needed my Bob Dylan, right? So I went to the store and I always get the album name wrong. Is it Highway 51 or Highway 61?
Revisited, right? Highway 61 Revisited.
Hit 61. I just saw the...
fucking Mitch would be so disappointed.
I know, right? I always get the number wrong.
Hey, buddy. He said 51. What a fucking idiot.
I just remember like looking through the CD section, just seeing what would pop out, and that cover of that album, him sitting there with the t-shirt, just some about it just stood out to me. And that album like kind of changed my life a little bit. Like I took that record home or CD at the time and put it on, and it like, like a Rolling Stone comes on. That's the first track, and it blew my mind, and I wouldn't have had that experience if it wasn't just like going out into the wild and just checking Pokemon reference and just checking, out that section and just letting something hit me, What about you? What for movies and stuff?
Oh, this burned into my memory is the Jason Goes to Hell VHS cover, which was like a wall of fire, the Jason mask like bloody and gore covered, and then this like worm demon crawling out of the eye socket, directly at the viewer.
Yes,
there was
terrible movie too. That's the problem too. That's probably the most badass like metal cover of all those movies, and it's like by far the worst one. So annoying.
Also, the Jack Frost one with the lenticular like morph effect. That one also is like,
I love it's all horror movies. I mean, that's how they got sold though. That's how you would take them home. You would see the cover and need to know what happened.
The movies weren't going to sell themselves.
Yeah.
Well, there was
Jurassic Park just as a black box that just says Jurassic Park on it.
Yeah,
we had a lot of memories. There was a company, Full Moon. I don't know if it was Full Moon Entertainment.
Is that the Puppet Master guys?
It is the Puppet Master guys. But this is the thing that they did in the 90s, even before I knew about special features and all that. They would have behind the scenes at the end of the VHS. And it was so amazing. They made this movie called The Creeps, where it's basically this scientist is going to bring the horror monsters to life from the books, and he has a virgin sacrifice, but she's not actually a virgin.
That's also in Monster Squad.
So they come back as little people.
Amazing.
So it's like a little guy Frankenstein, but the behind the scenes is amazing. As they have like the guy who he was in Ghoulies 2, that little guy. Remember he had that he was like the little guy with the perm. I forgot his name, but he was in all the stuff. And his whole thing was like, I never thought I'd get to play Dracula. Like he's like almost tearing up. And then you cut to like the guy as the Wolfman trying to crunch beer cans against his head and he can't. It was hilarious.
Well, that opens up a whole nother Pandora's box, which is DVD commentary.
The DVD
and DVD special editions. I mean, come on.
The DVD, this is where like I feel like something is truly lost, especially when we do research for these episodes. I'll looking up an article and the source will be, oh, this is from the DVD commentary. And I'm like, I have no way to access that. Or there's a couple of weird little corners of the internet where they just saved like the commentary tracks as DVDs, or I'm sorry, as MP3s, and you can listen to those like a podcast. But everything from, extra commentary tracks, deleted scenes, and my favorite thing, because what does DVD stand for? We all know. The digital versatile disc.
Oh, right.
There were all these like weird little things like bonus games, demos for like tie-in games if you put it into your PC.
Dude, if you left it on the main menu and then you couldn't find the remote.
Yeah.
And the loop.
That
was hell.
Or waking up to the loop.
Unless it went to the screensaver mode, then hours of entertainment waiting for it to
I'm gonna pull audio in for a second too at the advent of the CD-ROM, dude. Like the Wu-Tang Forever CD-ROM where you can go into the Wu-Tang Clan mansion and there's like a secret puzzle you have to unlock to like get even more content.
I'll pull audio into this. Secret tracks.
Yep. And also, on CDs specifically, which they started to bring back a little bit. Some bands are starting to pull secret tracks in.
How do you pull a secret track on Spotify?
I guess you just have to sit there and wait for the, and then you just jump ahead. So it's not quite the same.
The way it would either you just let the last track play and then something else would start, or if you were really advanced, you could put the way the CD format worked, there was always a track 0, a null sector for the CD to align.
You could put
play
it
at track 1
and then
rewind and enter the null sector, and you would be able to listen to like more music.
But wouldn't it be smarter for the artist to be like, no, you only get the secret track on the physical.
Yeah.
You have to buy the physical.
Yeah.
That's
and then that's getting into variants as well, right? Yeah. Also, I think Jack White did something really interesting recently where depending on how you place the needle on the groove of the vinyl, it will spiral a different secret track.
That's
at the end or whatever. So it would like 2 different versions of the album essentially are played depending on how you place the needle down on the actual record, which is another way to do it on physical. And exactly. Like that's what made it special. Going back to movies, I had that Memento special edition.
Oh, I was going to bring it up. Where it's a puzzle game just to play it.
First of all, the whole menu was set up like a case file for a psychiatric exam, and it would ask you questions. And I had to go look it up on the internet. It's kind of weird where this is where internet meets physical, right? Because I never would have been able to figure it out probably on my own. I had to go look up the correct answers. But if you answered the questions correctly, you would get to watch the movie in chronological order. If you remember, the Memento is broken up,
right,
and kind of goes from past to present in this very interesting structure. And
when he was messing with the mind and not Greek history.
That
movie
was
looks
huge.
great. I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, also, let's talk about Lord of the Rings Extended Edition.
Oh.
Not only did you get the Extended Edition, but I probably spent more time watching the the extra DVDs. What did they call it? The appendices DVDs that came with those. Even
there's
than
no
the movies
way
themselves.
Holden, even at that age, didn't say a penises. DVDs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Squirt, squirt.
I love there was the Easter eggs. You could get Easter eggs on DVD. So like in one of the Lord of the Rings editions, you could on the scene selection go past the last scene, one ring would pop up, and you could I think it's like Elijah Wood and Dominic Monaghan doing that like do you wear wigs interview. Like there's also do you remember on the Matrix DVD there was Follow the White Rabbit mode, where after in a scene, the White Rabbit would show up, and if you hit enter at the right moment, you could see behind the scenes footage.
That's awesome.
From the scene you were currently
By
watching.
the way, Matrix was, I do believe, the very first DVD experience I had at my buddy Evan's place. He was rich. He had a big ass basement with a big ass TV. And I remember, and we were experimenting with I'm going to say medical marijuana, okay, to keep things above board, and watch that DVD. Another DVD or another cover, but it's DVDs.
You don't have to say that anymore. You just it's legal.
I'm still worried about double jeopardy entrapment. Okay. I'm still worried about double
blue-haired
jeopardy
lawyer
entrapment.
from The Simpsons just like crashes through the ceiling. We got him, boys.
I'm just worried about now remembering the movie Double Jeopardy.
Dude, remember that movie?
So
That movie's
dumb.
so stupid.
It's the dumbest.
If you want to,
by the way, when I said Double Jeopardy entrapment, I was absolutely thinking about the movie Double Jeopardy.
If you want
and
to
the movie
see it,
Entrapment.
And the movie Entrapment. But yeah, the cover of that Fight Club special edition DVD cover was just like, that was such a huge, you know.
Oh, that was.
Oh.
Wait, is that the one where when you first put the DVD in, it would show the menu for Never Been Kissed
I
for a
think
few
so.
seconds?
Yeah.
Just enough for you to be like, oh no. And then Tyler Durden would just be like, fuck God, dude.
let's
mean-
smoke cigarettes. Yeah.
Never Been Kissed is an accurate way to describe most people that own a Fight Club
The Fight Club
DVD.
special edition DVD.
It was when I said at the beginning the 5 movies that everyone that looks like us owned. Fight Club is like number 1.
But it's the DVD kind of experience was an extension of the film. It was like more canonical.
You were getting so much more
stuff.
Again, I will recommend it for the millionth time. The Conan the Barbarian commentary with the director and Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the greatest.
John Milius, yeah.
Yes, one of the greatest DVD commentators. It's a lot of just Schwarzenegger going, oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, oh yeah. It's one of the funniest.
There's no way he's not getting his dick sucked during
It's hilarious. It's one of the funniest commentaries. But that was another thing. There would be like notorious commentaries that people would, you know. I remember another really good one I always bring up is the Clerks commentary, because like everybody's in the room. Jay, I think, nods off at one point. Like, it's just like you just feel like you're in the room with the people who made the movie, you know. And of course, I'll always have to call out, and people supported that when I mentioned it, I think maybe on a side recording, but the Dr. Horrible sing-along blog, the commentary where they did it all as a musical as well. There was just so many fun innovations in that space, and it just went away when we switched to streaming and for music and movies and everything. You know, that magic went away, and it's the same kind of magic that I bring up when we talk about old arcade games and, you know, needing to go to the arcade or whatever it was to see people perform the Mortal Kombat fatalities. There was a magic to the media that we just lost collectively, and that is now coming back.
Well, you know, and I was thinking about like the commentaries and like what we lost and what we have now instead, which is so funny, which is what we lost were these inside looks. And what we have now is just, it's either those Vanity Fair 30-minute things of someone talking about their own works, or it's the person promoting a new thing and just being bombarded about their old stuff. Like Disclosure Day, when Spielberg was on the press circuit for that, every question was just about like E.T. and Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones, and he because you don't have the access to those memories in any other way anymore. So it's like, no, you have to just talk to the guy. And it'll be funny, right? Like, we're the kind of people in the news sources that we see. It'll be like, this person just said this thing about this movie from 40 years ago. Because that's how we're getting the information now. It's like, your guys' show, you know, before I ever joined it, like, the amount of information that you probably got directly from DVD commentaries is massive. You know,
insane. And again, too, it was a way to like really dive in to the product, right? And on a level that everything's so disposable now. Netflix is wondering why no one wants to watch more than a season of a show. They don't get it. You know what I mean? And I think this ties into this. Whereas when, you know, back in the day when I would get a DVD, I wasn't just there for the movie itself. I was there for all the featurettes, the commentary, anything they had for me, because I'm experiencing this movie once and then again in a different way, and then I'm experiencing it again in a different way. And it was incredible shit. I mean, Lord of the Rings Extended, you had like a writer commentary and a director commentary and like an actor comment. I mean, it was insane. Like, I would rewatch the same movie over and over and over again, and it would become, that's how movies become like a part of who you are.
You know, another thing that like we've lost, and to tie into that is the sharing of things.
Yeah.
Of, like, I think every year for like 8 years, I got my dad a Robert Jordan book. Whenever the new one came out, that's what he got for, like my mom, I would get her Seinfeld DVDs.
Yeah.
And, and they would get me stuff like that too. And it was this way of like connecting. It was a way of saying, I listen to you. I know who you are. I know what you like. I want you to be able to enjoy this forever. And it's like gift giving is like harder now without that. It was such a shortcut.
Yeah.
To be able to just give someone, a thing, or to pass on, someone, you getting me a book that you love, that you think I'll love, that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
That's an awesome thing that we don't have in that same way anymore.
Well, sometimes getting a book as a gift is like, here's a
punishment.
burden.
Yeah. How to lose weight in 30 days.
Or like a DVD as a gift, especially by the
and
end.
then you blow on it and it says years. And you still throw it out.
Getting a DVD by the end state of like when they were just pumping those things out, like that was also kind of like, oh wow, you spent $12.
Well, let's stay on this for a sec, Jake. Was there a story? Was there a book that you got that you're like, oh fuck?
Oh, all the time. My cousin was really into Wheel of Time, and I would get a Wheel of Time book for birthdays and stuff. And I still have not read it.
Right.
Dude, it's so.
I had the opposite. I could never, until finally it happened 1 year, I could never give my dad a book that he liked, and I kept trying. I'd like give him some book I thought was
How
great.
to tell your son he's okay.
Yeah.
I've lost 3 different friendships over 3 different unread copies of Cavalier and Clay.
Yeah. Like everyone keeps giving me this goddamn book. It's a lot of books.
It's like it's about comic books. I'm like, but I could just read comic books.
And also, it's a fictional history. Well, I know the real history.
Yeah.
For finally, by the way, the book that got over, and then he now loves this author and loved that book is Skippy Dies. If you were ever curious that's a great book, by the way. Check that book out.
Giving somebody a movie from your collection has way more weight and way more intention than just how many times, even just like in our day-to-day conversations, I was like, oh, I just watched, this thing. It was so great. You got to check it out. And you go like, oh yeah, I'll check it out. And then you're back on Netflix, back on the infinite scroll, and you're like, oh, I heard good things about this.
But that's what's changed for me. I mean, I want to call out our, and I want to actually move the focus over to Mike for a second, too, in a second, because we all kind of were sent out on assignment. Jake was movies, I was music, Mike comic books and books and the evolution of this technology stuff. But for me, I think that's getting that Dungeon Crawler Carl episode going, and now getting those books. Like, I'm so excited. I'm almost done with the 4th one. One of my favorite things is to get to go to the bookstore, and even though it's like, I know it's going to be there, it's a very popular series, there's still that magic of walking into the bookstore and like seeing it and like being like, it's here, and taking it home is, and then again, also obviously with the One Piece box sets, I cherish those so much. They've helped me make connections with people who've come over, like other parents that have come over, see that. Also, like, I can see Winnie without actually reading it yet, but still looking at it. She'll always ask to like look at it, and always let her. And she loves, I have that new One Piece shirt that I got, and she's like always asking about all the characters and stuff. And I can kind of tell she's probably going to get really into it when she's old enough to, and that's like such a special, cool thing that wouldn't happen if I was reading it all on a tablet.
Cut to 15-year-old Winnie throwing a lamp at your head being like, Chopper's underwritten, Dad. He's always been underwritten.
So, Mike, I mean, I know you were, what's been your experience, especially with comic books? I know we've all gone through the collector onslaught of the 90s, the hologram.
Including books with Onslaught in them.
The hologram variants. I feel
Yeah.
like the thing we're dealing with now in vinyl was happening back then in the 90s, where you had all these alt covers, and I know they still do that stuff.
Yeah, they do it to a point of like exclusives, where if you order 50 of like a regular title, you get an exclusive. There are store exclusives. There's all that kinds of stuff. I think are their attempts at trying to keep it alive. You know, it is interesting. You know, we were talking about like games last week. I am someone who is mostly a digital reader now.
Yeah.
And I never thought I would be. I do love the smell of comic books. I love the feel. It matches my BO. I love
And it was a Pandora's box when I got your DC login, so I could enjoy, you know, so I could prepare for an episode. I was like, oh my God, it's all here.
But you know what it was? It was like I remember I had such when I moved to New York, I had 4 giant tubs of books.
Not boxes, tubs.
Yes.
Comic
Not Crockett's, tubs. And it was so crazy, and I couldn't bring most of them.
Are we
with
talking
me.
a lot of single issue comics or
Single
like what are we
issues,
talking?
trades, tons of stuff. It was basically everything that I ever owned. And it was so like freeing in a way not to bring it with me. And I because I left it with my my mom at the time. And it's funny, anytime we move, I cull more stuff. And now I have like such a small collection of actual physical books.
Yeah, I think we're bearing the lead a little bit of how physical media can be a burden, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the hoarding of it and all that. And it was that thing of realizing like, no, I do just love the story, and I never did care about the value and the collecting, and I think all that stuff can be fun. It also did in many ways kill this very specific thing that I love. But yeah, now it is so interesting. Like when I get like a physical comic, and I love that what they've recently done, which they didn't do for a while, is they've made them more accessible again with these smaller. DC has like the compact books, and Marvel has a version too. But it was like, but for a good while, the cheapest like compilations were like $20 to $30. But you know, when you were saying the kids are all right and the kids are saving us, I mean, manga.
Yeah.
And that like it mostly has taken over at least bookstores' comic book sections.
Yeah.
Because it sells better.
You know, people are like, hey, you know, when I was talking about like waiting for the next box set to come out for One Piece, and people hit me up, be like, you know, it's like $2 a month
for Viz or whatever.
Right? And you can just get it all. And I'm like, it's not about that. In fact, another funny, I don't know if you guys
but this is another quick thing of, you know, we hung out with our kids, and there was a moment where you took out a One Piece volume, and it was volume 81, and it's so interesting, like that we can learn so much about each other through physical media.
Yeah, we were hanging out at the pool. I just wanted to read for a little bit. And, you know, and exactly, you wouldn't know what I was reading and have any idea.
You'd just be staring at a Kindle or a tablet.
Yeah,
or something.
exactly. Hey, I'll ask this too. Or what were we gonna say?
No, I was gonna say like that was a thing. You know, we all lived in New York. People on the subway.
Oh my God, how much you would learn. And there was even I remember an article I read. There was like a certain line that goes into Brooklyn. I think it's like the Inn or something. That's like the most literary subway line.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because it would go down, and they would talk about like it was all about how everybody. Yeah, exactly. It would all be kind of reading different, you know, all these different books and stuff, or even connections I made because I remember one time I sat next to this lovely trans person on the subway, and they were playing the same Fire Emblem game I was playing, and I just low key pulled my DS out, and we just immediately made friends and
First
hit
of all,
it off.
never pull your DS out in front of a trans person on the train. they get that a lot.
I let
and
them know.
it's
I
not-
asked for consent first. But yeah, another funny thing too that a
Do you
delineation.
still have your stylus?
A delineation I make because I have to make these delineations, even though I have the freedom. So I had that DC app, but I made the conscious decision I'm only going to read Absolute Batman in trade form. And even though I had access to future issues that weren't out yet in trade because of the app,
Yeah.
I said, no, I only want to read this because this is the way I want to experience this one thing. Whereas Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute, all the other ones, I was like, I'll read those digital, right? And I make those kinds of decisions as well. I don't know.
It's okay. I just want everyone to know it's okay that he prioritized Batman over Wonder Woman. He said a trans person was beautiful. We are okay.
So yeah, when it comes to comics, at this point, I feel like your identity when it comes to these things are almost more in action figures and T-shirts
Yeah.
than comic books. Like, is there a prize?
Because they feel more useful
Yeah.
in a way, in terms of a T-shirt. I gotta wear a shirt, and then the action figure. Obviously, I could have my son down the road read my comics. I don't know if you will want to, but he can do that digitally now. But we play with the action figures, and it is it's the greatest feeling. We spent an hour the other day. There's a 2-pack with Lalandra and Brood Wolverine.
What?
And he calls him Big Mean Wolverine. And we just played as he was going to sleep, with Wolverine and Spider-Man for an hour. And first they were fighting, then they were dancing. We had them doing the hokey pokey. It was fucking great.
Yeah, I think
Mike is is the most fortunate, because if there is one form of media that is pretty much on lock to be preserved for a while, it is Marvel and DC comics.
Yeah,
They're not going away. The collectors, or at least the archivists, have been on it for a while.
Well, they could with the Warner acquisition with Disney. I mean, and also there's still it's funny.
it's not as scary as
I just mean the amount of moldy long boxes that are still taking up space.
But what's interesting? But physical media, and the way that it is preserved and what gets prioritized, really does shape things. Like when the Shang-Chi movie came out, I hadn't really read a Shang-Chi comic because there were licensing issues for years, and there were all these essential Marvel books that I did have, like Essential Spider-Man, Essential Silver Surfer. They didn't make one of Shang-Chi, or if they did, it was a very limited print run. And so I had no recollection of that character because he's based on Fu Manchu stuff.
Oh.
That's the original.
He's from that literary universe.
He's the son of Fu Manchu originally, and so he's owned by that estate.
Oh,
Initially, and then Marvel finally bought him. But for years, you couldn't. There's tons of things like that in comic books. Alan Moore's Miracle Man was just not being published, and Wizard would promote it all the time. And the only way you could get it is to go to a comic shop, and it was always overpriced.
Yeah, Alex and I literally just had a discussion. We're culling right now books specifically, and she's like, "What are we doing about Lost Girls?" Because I picked up that really nice edition of Lost Girls. Maybe I'll just put it on one of these books.
That's the Alan Moore lesbian,
hypersexual, pornographic comic book series that he did with his lover, illustrated it, and it's a really nice edition of it, and it's so inappropriate. And if Winnie ever
that's all the fairy tale girls, right?
And it's all the fairy tale girls, and it's the edition of it looks very fairy tale, so a child could easily see it and be like, "This is a fairy tale book," and then open it up and be like, "Oh my god!"
I think your child is ready to discover the world that I created. I think it's time she grabs onto me beard. And goes into a world of weird sex shit.
So when you
putting the Peep back in Little Bo Peep,
I want to dive back into music in just a little bit, but to finish up on comic books and whatnot. What were the decisions that went into whatever you narrowed it down to? I mean, do you have a prized kind of comic book collection? And I also this is a 2-part. And how did you feel back in the day during that hologram variant era, especially the most egregious collector area? And was this ever a collector situation for you?
Here's how I directly felt about it. it sucked because the book cost more that month. If you were collecting, and they came out with a special 50th issue hologram, that was an extra buck tag.
You just wanted to read it.
Yeah, I just wanted to read it. And now, now it's like what they do a lot is they'll make these oversized things where they put like a lot of backup stories and things, and it's like I just want the main title for an affordable price.
Just want to know what happens to the Riddler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that era very much. And so what is your collection now, essentially?
First off, what happens to the Riddler is for some weird reason, Arkham Asylum lets them wear their costumes in the asylum despite rehabilitating them. And so the Riddler just breaks out and releases more riddles.
By the way, I had to get the Superman dies at one point, and it was extremely important.
Yeah, the black armbands.
We could do a whole ass episode on this
death of Superman, but that was just such a crazy time.
Is that the challenge?
But yeah, what's your?
I will happily do it.
What's your situation now? Do you have this like? This is I'm gonna die with these comic books, or is it just kind of like this is the stuff I kind of like, and it's
I have like a few graded comics, and they're all gifts.
Okay.
And I guess, when I was saying about like a gift is a way to like acknowledge someone's fandom and what they love. My brother got me Amazing Spider-Man #4.
Hell yeah.
Which is the first appearance of Sandman. And Betty Brant, but Sandman's why I wanted it.
That's worth quite a bit. Is that worth quite a bit?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
It's maybe like a 3.0, 4.0. I don't really care about that stuff.
Yeah,
like
whatever. I was just curious if it was something that was actually like, I might need to put this in a safe at some point.
No, I don't. I mean, these are all going to go to the kid.
Yeah.
But what was really cool was like, this was special to me. I was on the road with Pete Davidson, and we walked into a store, and they had Wolverine #1.
Yeah.
And
my brother has #2.
Nice. And my album, Sadamantium, was a parody of that cover.
That's right.
And I had no idea. And Pete said to me, he's like, hey, that's like your album cover. And I was like, you know my album?
That's
he's
awesome.
like, it was one of my, he's like, why do you think you're on the road with me?
Whoa.
It was one of my favorite albums. And he's like, do you have that? I was like, no, I don't have that. And he's like, I'm getting it for you.
That's amazing.
He just got it for me.
That's amazing.
And
so I think at the time when my brother got Wolverine 2, it was worth quite a bit, and that was back in the 90s.
I'm sorry, Mike's little brother is way cooler than your older brother.
Yeah, but his older brother has masturbated the Kardashians. But no, what was amazing was like now in Logan's bedroom, there is like a little like Wolverine shrine, and the centerpiece of it is that comic.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's time we check in with our own community and their physical media memories.
Yeah.
How do you guys
Sure,
feel
yeah.
about that?
I had some stuff on, a little bit more stuff on music, but however you want to organize this.
What do you really want to like tell us about like music as a physical medium?
I just think this rise and fall, and maybe you can add your own like movie stuff to this as I talk through this, but I just think keeping the timeline in mind and talking about where we're at in present day is very interesting to me, right? So brief overview. Obviously, we have vinyls being the main thing up until, the 80s.
Yeah.
Cassettes actually first hit the scene in 1940 as a novel way to record movie soundtracks, but eventually they catch on. I just remember the turnover happening with CDs. So we're full on cassettes. Remember, the first cassette I ever got was Michael Jackson's Thriller, gifted to me, as well as Boyz II Men, Cooley High Harmony.
Mine was Whoop There It Is.
Nice.
By personal request.
By personal request. My actual purchased first album was Primus Pork Soda. And I remember my mom at the Borders Books and Music
What a weird child are you?
grilling the clerk.
My dad
about-
took me to a Circuit City the day Mechanical Animals by Marilyn Manson came out.
Wow. You were edgier than me, man.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I mean,
you
sadder.
were edgy for suburban North Carolina. Mike was bog standard Florida boy. That's the real thing.
Marilyn Manson did go to my community college.
Oh, wow.
BCC.
Alongside the other beautiful people.
It was so funny. My mom just being like, is there anything on this tape that my son will be damaged by? The clerk just being like, I don't know. Lady.
I mean, Les Claypool says backwards, Holden, do drugs. Holden McNeely, do drugs.
Also, remember, because this was a huge deal too, and it made sense because you had Marilyn Manson, you had gangster rap. The Paranormal Advisory sticker was such
Tipper.
a big moment that really kind of screwed us over as young audio consumers.
Did it screw us over or did it entice us and make it even more fun?
Both, but
It's
for
the
me,
reason I was listening to Doggy Style.
totally. But for me, like, I didn't have a parent that would take me to get a Marilyn Manson record. You know what I mean? So it was definitely like. You had to be.
I was like
sneakier.
16 at the time.
Yeah, even still, I think my mom was just like, the children, what will we do? And she was a real Maud Flanders for sure, except for the death part. But yeah,
She survived her t-shirt cannon.
She threw it back and killed the guy.
but yeah, we all had that moment, and we do deal with this with VHS and DVD, where like we collectively as a people changed formats. Yeah. And it was this almost overnight, but it was a gradual thing, you know, where the DVD section started to expand more and more in the Blockbuster. I remember the same thing with cassettes, seeing like and watching people literally like repurchase all of their same albums on CD, which is something that is, I guess, kind of weirdly happening now in a certain way with vinyl sales and CD sales, but not to the same level. In fact, nowadays, I like to like make my love for a new album permanent by getting it on vinyl, right? So I like to like, it's not, my love for it's not permanent if I'm only listening to it on Spotify.
Right.
It only becomes permanent when I go out and I get the vinyl and I bring it home, because then I'm like, no, I stand by this record. This is a album I love.
I remember we got a record player that we restored a couple years ago. This was around like the COVID times, and I got my mother-in-law for her birthday. I was so happy to get someone physical media as a gift again. I got them the Beatles #1 album, and it was like $35.
Yeah,
and it was like, and you know, and we listened to it, and I don't know, like I think that there's that thing that has to click in your head of like, this is worth it, and for whatever reason, it didn't seem worth it.
Yeah.
I get the people who do love it, and I just couldn't, like, I never got another record again.
Yeah, I for me, I think it's
and she didn't listen to it a lot, so that was like, what the fuck are we doing here?
It is for me the loss of control of streaming, that it all just kind of exists in this space that just doesn't have a tangibility
and
to
it's
it.
a way to support an artist.
And it's the way, and that's where what we're about to get into. So
Yoko Ono personally thanked me.
So you've got Napster coming along in 1999. Then you have the iPod entering the scene in 2001. The iTunes Music Store in 2003. Last FM and Pandora coming along and being like, you don't even have to
Poor Pandora.
choose your music. You just put in one band and we'll choose the music we'll just curate it for you. And then, of course, you also have MySpace Music and SoundCloud coming along and being like, hey, you don't need to go into a studio and have a record company backing you. You can just make your music in your bedroom and put it immediately on the internet and become massively successul.
Your
that
best
way.
music, Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it gets way worse after you get involved with a record company. So, you know, then you have 2008 is Spotify putting it all together. And I think one thing we need to remember is the reason why they have been, because I was like, how does Spotify just become this juggernaut that has, you know, people like to say they don't have everything. There's a bunch of major artists that aren't on there, but come on, they've got like everything, you know what I
Neil
mean?
Young just in the back being like, you'll never get me.
Including the band Everything, who had the song Hooch in the Waterboy soundtrack.
And
Wait, Who Got the Hooch?
Yeah.
Is not
The
on
name
Spotify?
No, I said they do have Everything.
Oh, okay.
It is on Spotify.
And it's essentially a strong arming situation, kind of like we had with Blue Dot Fever and Live Nation and Ticketmaster, where they're essentially like, here's a tub of money music label. to get access to all of your giant catalog. And you can either have this or kids are just going to steal it for free. So what would you prefer? Do you want money or no money?
And, you know, and I was saying before, like art and, you know, physical media as a form of personality, like it's not a chud thing, but it's a pud thing. It feels weird to do the Spotify yearly Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah.
You know, but I still like looking at them from other people.
Yeah.
It's a way to learn about them.
Mine's just Super Kitties and Paw Patrol at this point. But yes, yeah, absolutely.
The other part of the Spotify equation is that they offered just like Netflix, they offered everything at a loss with venture capital money backing them up.
Yeah.
So that they could $8 a month was like crazy for the amount of it replaced what even a casual music fan would be spending on music in the iTunes era and the CD era before it.
Yeah, it's like, you know, we talked about Pearl Jam with Ticketmaster and how like we owe them an apology, and I don't think we necessarily owe Metallica an apology, but the shit that they were screaming about with Napster, I think in hindsight now, the way that artists get paid out from Spotify numbers and all this sort of thing, it ended up being really, really detrimental to artists.
Including indie artists.
Including especially indie artists, you know? And so artists stopped seeing the money from this. They're used to these album sales. They're making pennies compared to streaming numbers. So they lean harder into merch and harder into touring. And then we just explained in that Blue Dot Fever episode why their touring situation got completely screwed over. So what are they supposed to do? 2006 is the lowest year for physical media music sales, just to keep it in mind. And I bet you could kind of one-to-one this with Netflix and, you know, movie streaming and stuff like that. Anything you have to add about movies, please do. But it's 2022 when something incredible happens. 2022 vinyl outsells CDs. And this is kind of the reason why we're like doing this episode, right? I mean, is this...
No, that was all everything. It was, you know, and a continuation of physical gaming.
Yes.
It wasn't because of this.
Well, I do think, but I do think
the fucking orgasmic joy in your face as you got to actually was something to behold.
The reason why this episode is interesting to me to do, right?
Yeah, for you. Yes.
With games, Jesus Christ. With games,
you know how you get the comments, Mike? This is how you get the comments.
I know. I love it.
Our kids are at the pool. and no, you know what? Spotify is good for music, and everyone who goes on there says wonderful things and are great human beings.
I, for one, like Stitcher or whoever else we have a deal with currently. But yeah, the reason why this episode is interesting for me is this more recent resurgence that's happening. It's like the opposite of what's going on in games. Games is like scary. They're just taking the control away completely. Whereas, and this is the kids are all right thing, 2022, vinyl outsells CDs in the US for the first time since 1987. And soon, vinyl accounts for 71% of all physical music format revenue. And it finally seems like things are balancing out. And what's kind of interesting is it's not that, vinyl took back over and streaming started to go away or lessen. No, they just found a way to coexist. That we found a way to like nature, like life found a way for them to both be prominent ways to listen to music, you know? I think too, for me personally, I think one way that this happened is I think a lot of vinyl sales are being driven by major pop acts, right? And I think the focus less on just the hit single and more on the album as a whole. And you know me, I'm an album guy, but I think pop artists start to get way more focused on what their entire album, what their era is.
Yeah.
And because of that, it put more of a focus on the album and more of a focus away from streaming and towards having a physical album.
It also
in
helps
tape, CD, or vinyl form.
For and even for independent artists, like the audio cassette is making a small comeback as just a total, because
like I said, kids are on college and high school campuses with Walkman.
Yeah.
Like as a statement,
but
you know,
or the lesser kids have Kobe headphones.
Oh my God. Kobe, I remember a Kobe headphone.
I had a
Kobe CD player.
I forgot what their version of the Walkman was.
The Trotman.
It was funny. It was like it had fast forward, but not rewind.
Yeah, no, that's pieces. It's
yeah.
Well, it's Audio cassettes are actually in a weird place right now because there's just no more factories that make those bits. But a record, it is so elegantly simple. It is just a metal master. You just smush it into some plastic and you just get a little needle to just run across it with a pickup.
I'm the biggest sucker for, and the plastic, sometimes it's not black. Sometimes it's purple. Sometimes it's got speckles on it. And for some reason, that's enough for me to get like hype about getting it.
Well, the speckles just goes back to squirt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it's those horny albums. I also have a lot of horny records as well.
If you had to build physical media back from a EMP solar flare apocalypse, the record would be the first one to come back because it is remarkable. You know, Thomas Edison yelled into a horn, Mary had a little lamb, and got it onto a wax cylinder. Like,
and all that science is really fascinating. I still don't understand how you like a needle etching groove into a thing. I mean,
records is the easiest part. You want to? I tried to figure out how the fuck a laser disc worked because it was an analog video signal with a digital audio track. I don't know how the fuck that works.
I can't believe it took us this long, but shout outs to laser discs, by the way, because that was a crazy time in video audio medium.
Because VCRs were never originally meant to be like distributed for pre-recorded media. It was so you could record television at home, and an individual tape costs like nowadays $100. It was like precious, like the amount of tape you could afford.
And to all those folks at home who did get the Kobe reference, we understand if you didn't get the Laserdisc reference.
Yeah, but Laserdisc was just for millionaires and Japanese people.
Can I still do the I was poor growing up, even though I said I live in a house? Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
TV VCR.
Rule. That wasn't a segue. You just wanted permission as a human being to exist.
I wasn't sure. Does that? Yeah.
Yes, Mike, absolutely. You are a valid human being.
Even better. You worked. You Jay-Z'd it, as they say. But yeah. By the way, I just want to throw it out there. It always comes back to Taylor Swift. Midnights in October of 2022 is pointed to from experts as the turning point in album releases, which is what I kind of wanted to get at here. Is the current day vinyl variant situation. I wanted to get you guys' perspective on this for a second, because every time we bring this up, there, of course, has been a debate about this. Folklore had 9 variant versions upon release. Midnights had 6. And good Lord, Life of a Showgirl had 11 different versions on CD, 8 different vinyl versions, right? And I think when I come out and be like, I think it's fun. You get to choose your personal version of the record that you want. It's kind of neat, you know? Even though I kind of like the idea of a more focused, dedicated, like, this is the cover of the album. This is my vision for the album, right? I do really appreciate that. Other people go like, yeah, well, in Taylor's case, it's not like an artist trying to like do their best to make ends meet. It's like a billionaire gaming the system to like be number one and make even more millions and millions of dollars. And I totally get that. And so did Billie Eilish, who said in an interview, for some reason, it's very important for some artists to make all sorts of different vinyl and packaging, which ups the sales and gets them more money. I can't even express to you how wasteful it is. It's some of the biggest artists in the world making fucking 40 different vinyl packages that have a different unique thing just to get you to keep buying more. And though she claimed it was not aimed at anyone particular, it's definitely, aimed at those big pop stars that are kind of all doing this at this point. You come to expect
it's part of the native K-pop business model that you release multiple versions of the album using either a different theme. One is like visual concepts. Then a couple of months later, you do the re-release, which is the same album with like a couple of more tracks added, usually a new single that they get to promote with. And there is no like standardized format for these album releases. Each one is its own objet d'art with like uniquely sized art books, trading cards, merchandise. Like if you go to the floundering album section of a Target, the K-pop albums are all these weird boxes and presentations.
I was about to say I got a Le Sserafim
and the actual
vinyl, and it has like almost like trading cards of all the different.
Oh, the photo cards is huge.
But also when you go to Target, they have like an exclusive Taylor. It's like that's part of why these artists do that is because they have these rights, licensing things with different
Yeah, the Walmart edition, the Target edition.
But it is kind of hitting a breaking point. I almost feel like I will throw it out there. I don't really mind the variants as much as I mind the, hey, I put my album out. I went out and got your album because I really like your album. And a month later, hey, I'm announcing the deluxe version that's going to be like pretty much it's going to be the same price, but you get 3 songs that aren't on the other one. And you're just like, man, it's kind of the DLC thing we'll do an episode on in the future.
But it's interesting you said like the floundering album section. It is amazing though that vinyl went away and now vinyl is the album section.
True.
For the most part.
Yeah,
That's all they sell.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So anyways, that was kind of my thing, but I wanted to pose that. Do you guys have any opinions on vinyl variants and where we're at with that whole world?
It's the same as comic book variants. I mean, it's an open market. People can decide to buy them or not. If they don't, they'll make less. And to me, it's not that enticing of a thing. There will always be the competition that is fueled on the internet of I am a bigger fan of this person because I have this.
Because I went out and spent $1,000 so I could get every single variant of every single thing. Where me, it's like a choose your own adventure. It's
exactly.
Like, oh, I'm going to look at all the different ones and then make my choice. But yeah, I do have you do get a bit of FOMO with that. Like I wish the Olivia Rodrigo one, her newest album, there was like the Jack Frost style.
Oh, a lenticular.
Yeah, where you can turn it and she's like swinging on the swing. And I'm like, man, I want that version. But that, of course, sold out in 2 seconds. So now the one I have, I feel like is a lesser version in this weird way, like deep down.
I mean, and everyone around you knows it. And we can't say anything, but we think it. Winnie knows it. Winnie told me, she's like, is my dad cool? And I was like, I mean,
I just listened to the breakup part of that album so I can feel how I feel about the having that version of the album.
You got maggots for brains if you think that that's a fine version of the album.
It's I can't summon that much of a
fuck.
Yeah. Because Lord knows when I have been obsessed with an individual creator or property, that hunt, that need for the most collectible version of the thing I love as a physical totem of that connection. I think that's really what's more important is the physical media as just like real manifestation of your appreciation is a value that we lost along the way. And nowadays, having just a fire hose of stuff that we didn't even ask for, we're reassessing, is it better to spend that money on the best possible version of the thing we truly love? And are we making that recalculation in real time, especially as the value proposition, the original like convenience, ease of search, lowering of costs that was promised to us is being stripped back. I think, my ideal version of media is I get, I buy what I want to watch. I use my right of first sale to make a backup onto like a Plex server or a Jellyfin server. And then I get to create a digital like platform where when it's just the end of the day and I just want to watch an episode of The Simpsons, I can just access that episode of The Simpsons. And if I want to, I can prominently display that completely unwieldy Marge face box that.
And buddy, if you want to watch that Michael Jackson episode of The Simpsons, that's the only way you can.
We didn't even get into that.
Yeah.
The preservation, the real preservation factor.
Yeah, there's so many issues and factors in this that we're touching on, but we should get to our listeners.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want to say, if you are a listener and you're upset that your question wasn't read, you can either be upset at me for talking about comic books again, or Holden for talking about Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about VHS is that it uses a multi-helical read head that has 2 to 4 individual magnetic elements. All right. This first one, so the most common theme that came through was the people, that these were things that came through friends and family, and that these pieces of information, this like content archived on a storage format, means more because it was acquired and enjoyed with real people they care about. Alan on the Facebook page says, on my birthday, when I was about 8 years old, my dad took me to the local Hollywood Video, and he let me pick out anything I wanted. I found the season 4 box set of The Simpsons on the shelf for $20, and I took it home and fell in love with the show. Then every Christmas from there, he would get me the newest box set. It meant everything to me that on Christmas, I would have a new box set. Him and I would watch it that very night, and I still have those DVDs today in my home office. And when I do get to see him, now every 5-ish years, it's still a thing for us to sit together and watch those old discs.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, it's about family. It's about like, it's more than just, oh, I kind of like this thing. Chris says, oh my God. Chris says, me and my partner have recently been buying cassettes for our VHS player and doing movie nights with the kids like when we were younger. We made them watch all the trailers, and our first movie night was Free Willy. It's pretty special for the both of us to share this experience with them.
By the way, shout out to my buddy Matt, who's a puppeteer on a project I worked on recently, and he has actually been creating his own special edition VHSs by 3D printing the casings and like making them himself. And there's a whole underground world of people doing this now. And that's one thing we do forget with modern technology. Yes, there's streaming, but there's also interesting ways where you can do your own production of physical media, which I find to be fascinating.
Chris on the Facebook page just says, recording 8 straight hours of the Spice Channel off my dad's pirated satellite dish in the 90s when my parents were out of town for the day. I mean, that's some real physical media.
Hey, we didn't even talk about woods porn, I mean, that was the
Oh, woods porn. Okay.
Woods porn, yeah. Just going out
pictures of oak trees.
The only way you had to access naked lady photos was just finding some weird magazine in the woods. And this is a common knowledge thing that people of our age and older like all share, that younger generations are like, what do you mean woods porn?
There's one itinerant dilettante on Reddit talking about when Michael Keaton's Batman was released on VHS.
Hell yeah, dude.
Remember when that was an event when a VHS was finally, because it would take like a year.
Forever. For me, it was Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And I remember different mountain cottage situation, but we were on our way to the mountains and we stopped off in, I think, a Walmart or something, and it was out. And I convinced my mom, pleaded with my mom to get it. And she's like, you're not going to be able to watch it till we get back, because we didn't have a VCR at that cottage. Yeah. And so I had to wait. And I just remember pulling it out and like reading the back of it and smelling it and like just being so excited to put it on when I got home and waiting that entire week to get there. But it was such a special memory,
But this person that basically talks about how they went to Tower Records, blocks of people, they get it. It gives them this joy. Like a relative took them to get it. They begged and begged. And that, come to think of it, that might have been the formative memory that explains why the exhibit hall is my favorite part of San Diego Comic-Con, despite having crippling anxiety in large crowds. Because that is a thing. It's like when you still go into like a toy store or a record store or these places, it is that original memory and feeling that excites you.
This one speaks to the feeling of the specialness of your first or like your small burgeoning collection. Spencer says, when I was 14, I saved up money all summer to buy a DVD player when they were new, which this was, he says, $500 in back then money.
Wow.
If you go on Amazon right now, you can get a set top like VHS player for $35 right now.
Yeah.
And by the way, those like basic ass DVD players, the super basic ones, those fuckers are like Nokia phones. They will last forever. They're amazing.
But after buying the DVD player, I only had enough money for 2 DVDs. And so I watched Shrek and Jurassic Park 3 on a loop for 2 straight months.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park 3 is still better than people give it credit for. Spoken like a hostage.
R.I.P. Sam Neill.
R.I.P. Sam Neill.
It's funny, like I wore out that Jurassic Park VHS, but I also wore out that Nirvana Unplugged CD.
No one wore out Jurassic Park 3.
Except for maybe this
a DVD wouldn't wear out the way a tape would because there's less contact with the recording surface. There's lasers. Because early CDs and Laserdisc used an infrared laser, but then with the shift to red lasers, it was a shorter wavelength. Anyway,
I feel like flubber should like just come out of your pockets when you go that long on a.
Shout out to Technology Connections on YouTube. This is more Jurassic Park 3 defense. It has the least annoying kid of the original trilogy, and the Spinosaurus reveal is still one of the best scenes.
I'm done with that guy. Get that guy out of here.
Yeah.
Aaron says, I was the only one of my friends that
Annoyance finds a way. You're great. If you give us money, please keep giving us money. If you don't give us money, give us money.
Aaron just says, I was one of my friends that had an original VHS copy of the OG South Park Spirit of Christmas shorts, and it made me a pretty popular dude.
Oh, man.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
if we're talking about that, you mean pre the show even coming out? I mean,
Yeah.
I remember that was one of my first big, like, downloads on a computer from the internet. Was that.
We all installed the QuickTime plugin to make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn right.
Yep.
Ooh.
Where Santa Claus fights Jesus, I should specify.
This one is very specific, and I'd feel remiss if I didn't read this. Nikolai says that I've been collecting vinyls since I was a kid, even before hipsters got into it. And it's weird to have some pieces of physical media you can't show off. When I was 10, Bill Cosby was my comedy legend. And now as an adult, I have to hide all of my albums because I would feel weird even trying to donate them to a used record store.
I have both a Woody Allen DVD set of some of my favorite Woody Allen movies and a Woody Allen stand-up on vinyl. I want to say something really fast, too. This is like kind of common knowledge for vinyl heads, but maybe not a lot of people. If you are getting into vinyl, please don't get those Crosley briefcase vinyl players because they will fuck your records up, and they're really just not good quality anyways. So if you're trying to like enjoy vinyl because of quality, you can get great turntables for similar price. Like, definitely look into that. Don't get those Crosley briefcase. I know they're cool as shit. They're so like aesthetically pleasing. It was the first vinyl record player I had in Brooklyn as well, so I totally get it. But if you can help it, don't get those things.
I want that like
not
Sony Soundburger, the one you put in vertically. I want one of those.
Yeah, those are cool.
Soundburger?
I think.
Soundburger.
Or one of those weird Tinker Toys where it was like a little electric truck and it drove around the surface.
I love that this one is amazing to me. The Pixel Freak, PHREAK. It's just a guy, or possibly woman, or non-binary, who explained. Hopefully, you guys mentioned the Criterion Collection. It's a Blu-ray label that releases obscure art house films for a premium price, kind of like the movie equivalent of vinyl. How do they not think we know what the Criterion Collection
Also,
is?
Shout out to Criterion though, because I remember
they
those.
predate the Blu-ray format.
Yeah,
by
they
a lot.
definitely do.
Yeah.
But I remember those are some of my most beloved DVD sets, especially as a Wes Anderson guy. Like he would always have great Criterion releases.
And the Criterion Closet is one of those like YouTube things I said of like, this is how we know people's taste now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Definitely adding fuel to the fire of physical media is seeing all these like influential celebrities get excited for these like physical movies.
Yeah.
A lot of video games because we did do our physical video games episode.
Of course.
Jason says, the only time I ever dumpster dived was for an SNES and N64 games. It was sitting right on top of a huge pile of trash.
Wow.
There was an SNES, Final Fantasy III,
Oh, man.
Mario RPG, Conker's Bad Fur Day, and a handful of other titles I don't recall now. I immediately jumped in, grabbed everything,
Dude, yeah.
and then proceeded to have to clean them like mad when I got back to my apartment. Everything worked great. They were basically in mint condition except for some garbage juice. Gross, but worth it.
Wow.
I'm trying to imagine the scenario where someone throws out a bunch of RPGs.
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy. That's
those are like some prime
an angry parent maybe or something.
Or they had sex
yeah.
and they were like, I don't need
Or
these
they just
anymore.
are desperately trying to figure out how to have sex.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
have to make a
I
change.
think what it is that they got in a fight and realized it's not smart to wait your turn to hit somebody.
Oh, right.
You gotta
Well, Final Fantasy III had a real-time battle system. Or,
it did? It wasn't turn-based?
No, or the action timers or whatever.
Okay.
I forgot whatever fancy name
I
they
think you
gave
did
it.
have to have some pretty quick. Yeah, you couldn't. I don't think they had full pause on actions. Thank you, Jake.
What is
I'm
this?
a dummy.
I think they
we're
just
all
got annoyed
dummies.
at that poop monster boss fight from Conker's Bad Fur Day. Threw their shit away.
Great Mighty Pooh?
Is Wayne Brady going to have to chocobo?
Is there anything else from the Reddit that you noticed?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, you want to close us out with one or two? I think we're going to call it here.
Okay. Alex says that I was a fairly independent kid and have memories of scratching up some money and riding my bike to the comic or CD shop as my summer investment. That is a huge deal too, is having a limited resource.
Yeah.
And like having to like really decide like this is what I'm going to invest in.
Waiting, saving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My freshman year of high school, our town opened a massive 2-story mall, and I would go with every bit of spare change I managed to scrounge. But the one thing I remember coveting was a VHS copy of Night of the Living Dead, 1990 Tom Savini remake at the Suncoast Video. It was like $12, and I had around $10.50. So my buddy and I did what most obnoxious mall rats would do in that situation and go around asking for spare change. I even dug into the Kahunaville Wish Fountain, which is pretty illegal to make up the difference. Still have that tape.
Amazing. I love it.
Committing crimes for your...
I love our fans. Dumpster diving.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, everybody who wrote in.
Why do you think they appreciate people debasing themselves for the things they love?
Yeah. Why do you think they love three people rummaging through the past?
Well, there you go. I think that does it. Our episode on physical media, everything but video games. We already did our physical media video games episode. We hope you appreciate it. Please weigh in. Where do you think this stuff is heading? Weigh in with your favorite physical media memories, things like that. Hit those comments. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Nerd of Mouth Podcast. That's Nerd of Mouth Podcast on YouTube to see us. And, you know, there's visuals that pop up and stuff like that. Shout outs to April, who is incredible for doing that for us. Also, patreon.com/Nerd of Mouth. Please support the show. Put these families in a food scenario. Patreon.com/Nerd of Mouth. $5 a month gets you weekly bonus episodes where we talk about what the movies and shows and
it's hard to do a Patreon ask on an episode where they know where the money's going.
Yeah. Please help me afford my pop vinyl collection.
But you know, if you don't donate to us, I'll only be able to have 3 versions of Midnights. That's not enough Midnights.
Patreon.com/Nerd of Mouth. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/HoldenAderSo, HoldenAderSo on Twitch. Jake?
Why didn't you have a picture of me in a house on your album cover when you were hanging out with Pete Davidson? God damn it. Check me out on Blue Sky at Best Jake Young, Instagram at Best Jake Young, and check out the Cartoon Dumpster Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, over on twitch.tv/PuppetJared. It's a cartoon watch along, haha, fun time stream. Check it out. You'll like it.
And when I did my album, I didn't know what a house was yet. But I knew what Wolverine was.
It was just you eating a sandwich outside of Marcus's cellar.
Oh, inside only.
Oh, right.
Oh, what the sun would do to that turkey. The turkey was a little dry.
Check out Mike's album, Sadamant.
Yeah, Saturday and Make a Man Child.
Yeah.
Available on streaming?
Yes.
Have a good one, everyone.